Quick little shop update. So this is one of two. This is a 4 stack with a 3.5-inch coil. It's the JL Audio 13W7. At the time that I designed the motor, we had a surplus of coils, both D2 and D1. We used those up in the meantime. But I still have a nice big stack of the steel that's been machined to that. So we may take it back and machine them back down to 3-inch. Just because we have the longer coils now, but I've been making a couple with coils from lower to base. But that's one of a pair. These are wired series to 2 ohm. So then 2 ohm, 2 ohm, 1 ohm. But let me see, not too fast. This one was the Perps. This one was, I don't even remember his name, but he was like a bratty kid who just wanted, tons of bass, and it is a mess in there. So, because I actually had to, he broke the cone. The coil was still good, but he broke the cone. This one is actually a 5 stack. This one I would consider like a super SQL type woofer. This one is also dual 2. But this one is actually for sale. I'll probably do this one for $400. That's fine. But let me show you this other one. What did I do with it? So I just got where did I do it? Maybe it's back here. Anyways, I'll tell you the story. So there's a guy named Thomas. He, like a year ago, I think I showed it to you in another video. It's the Mojo woofer. He bought it like a year ago, and then he brought it back and it was torched. And I was like, well, I'll recone it for like $165, which is very reasonable. Hey, did I put it on the shelf? I don't remember. Well, we'll find it. Anyways, he killed it. He brought it in. I said, well, I'll repair it for $165, and then it'll have a new 3-year warranty on it. And he's like, well, how long will that take? And I was like, well, right now we're at a month. So 30 days out. And he didn't like that. And so I said, well, I have something temporary if you want. It's not as powerful. But, it'll work okay as long as you use common sense with it. Key phrase, common sense. So, but that was, it's not Def Bonce. I think Def Bonce is a sister brand. I think the name of the brand is called, oh shit, I forgot. Is it Avatar? Yeah, it's Avatar. And then the series is the Storm. So it's the Avatar Storm. It's like 1,000-watt 15. It's, of course, not as powerful as the Mojo, but, fine. It works fine. And so that lasted like maybe 2 days. And he's like, man, this thing burned up, And then it was like, he's like, it's funny the way that people act as if it's like my fault. And really, and I understand that people don't want to take responsibility for themselves. And I'm willing to work with somebody if they're willing to, make considerations and sort of rein in their behavior, which is really use common sense with the woofer. Do not blow the woofer up. If you're pushing it too hard and, you smell it, turn it down, let it rest for a couple of hours, be reasonable. But, a lot of you bass heads, are not reasonable and you're broke. And so you don't, I don't know, you let your emotions speak. And that's what Thomas did today. So I'll tell you more about that, but, I'm still looking for this woofer. So anyways, Thomas, what was it? I texted him last week cause it had been ready. I think I had put it in a video. It was right over here. I don't remember where I put it. So, I told him it would be ready. I said it was ready. It only took like 2 weeks. So I worked hard on it because I wanted him to have some bass, And I said, well, he said, well, let me go back. So he burned up the Storm one, and I said, well, it'll be another $165. And I said, I'll give you this one. And then so 2 weeks went by, and I said, what's up? Are you coming to pick it up? It's ready to go. And he's like, no, I got to get paid. I was like, okay, well, when do you get paid? He's like, Tuesday. I was like, okay, sweet, Tuesday. Tuesday came and went. That was last week. Let's see. Tuesday is today because there's monkey pants. Let me get in a promo for for Mark and Josh's show. There's a comedy show free at Monkey Pants tonight over there on Mill and Southern. The show starts at 8. I think Sherry and I are going to get there early so we get really good seats up front, and we can stuff our faces in a little bit of privacy rather than eating in front of everybody. So a lot of I've told you this before, a lot of the local comics don't like me. So that's why I sometimes like to show up to support their show and really kind of see how they're doing. So, and most of them are just terrible. And I didn't realize how terrible they were until I left all that drama and abuse. This is very vindictive behavior and just, all this kind of stuff. So anyways, that happens tonight at 8 o'clock. But Thomas, what was it? So how did this go? Oh, so I texted Thomas and because today is Tuesday. And so I gave him the benefit of the doubt and I thought maybe he meant this Tuesday. So I texted him and I said, let me pull up the text. So I said, let me read it to you. Because it's better when I read it to you. Oh, that way I'm not making shit up. You guys sometimes think I make shit up, and I'm like, sometimes I exaggerate for comedic value, but other times I don't. Come on. What are you doing? So, but anyways, so I texted him and I said, hey, are you coming by today? And he's like, no, I don't have the money. And I'm like, okay, so now he's a week late. And I said, I'm going to go ahead and post this up for $300 if you don't show up today, with something, And the way that he described it was that was a threat. Like I was threatening to sell his woofer. I'm like, first of all, this is not your woofer. This is my woofer, but I'm giving you the chance to buy it back for $100 for just the repair cost. So maybe this isn't working because I'm on the phone. I don't know. I've had it work before. Let me pause it real quick. Hang on. Magic. Okay. So let's see. He says, there's the woofer. Say. And I said, he's like, okay. I said, you got to give me 165 plus the dead one. And I go, are you coming over today or tomorrow? And then he's like, I said, what? And then he didn't respond. So I said, well, okay, I'm closing up. I'll see you tomorrow, 12 to 6. This is on the weekend, Saturday, February 5th. And then Sunday, I said, are you coming over? And he's like, Tuesday, got to get paid. It's like, okay. And then I said, okay, I'll see you Wednesday then. I just gave him an extra day. Let me know what time you can be here because during the week, I don't mind that people come over. Just text me so that we can coordinate because otherwise I'm not going to sit there and wait all day for you on a maybe. So he says, so I texted him today. I said, were you coming over? I said, if not, I got to post up that mojo for $300. And then that's when he calls me. And he like gets really mad. And I was like, I go, well, and then he comes up with this narrative, which I thought was, it was creative, but it wasn't great because when he came in and was making the decision on whether or not he should wait for the recone or take the Avatar subwoofer, the Storm woofer, he called his, I guess his girl or his baby mama or somebody. And he was like, do you want to wait? And asking her and whatever. And she wanted bass now. And so I go, well, it's not as powerful, but here you go. And so, it was funny. The way that he phrased it though, was as he goes, well, you said it was compatible with my amp. And I'm like, yeah, if you use common sense. So again, and it worked for like 3 days until he asked too much of it. But, so anyways, he ends up calling and then he doesn't want to listen, right? He doesn't want to take responsibility for killing his subwoofer. And this, of course, I've experienced this at least 100 times. So, I can hear some of you say, well, Patrick, you can handle this situation better. I'm like, I can, but I don't have to. You see what I'm saying? I don't have to. I don't have to put up with people's abuse. I'm not a business. I don't have to do the things that, and even if I was a business, I still don't have to put up with abuse. Okay? If you're going to get abusive on the phone, I don't have to do anything you say. And I don't have to do anything if I don't want to. And so, but he kept saying, that's bad business. That's bad business. And I said, well, then don't do business with me. And he didn't like that answer, right? I called him on his bluff. And so he ended up hanging up with the call. And then, I hung up on him. Then he calls back and I answer as if nothing was wrong. I'm like, this is Patrick. And that's when he starts going in for the threats. And then he says, he said, you need to listen to me. Otherwise you're going to make me mad. And I was like, what? Like, okay. Like, it's like this guy Carlos one time told me, he says, I got a short temper. I'm like, oh, so I'm supposed to curtail my life around you because you can't control yourself. Okay. You fuck off, you piece of shit. So anyways, I ended the phone call. And then I said to him, I'm making you mad. Fuck off. Right. That's a pretty good indicator that I don't want anything to do with him. But he's like, and then he says, all right, I got you, which, he happens to be black, but that makes no difference because the way that he was acting is what's known as a thug, right? That's a gangster, somebody that's tough, is going to use violence against you. And I'm not afraid of anybody. I'm not afraid of death. I'm not afraid of the police. You've seen that, Jesus Christ. And so I said, keep talking shit and find out what you get. And I said, I gave you 3 weeks, loser, and you didn't do anything. I said, how are you going to make a threat now? You can't even afford it. Like, you can't even afford gas to come over. And I said, what a fucking crybaby. Blaming a blown subwoofer on me. You're an idiot. I said, and so the last one was, I was doing talk to text and I said, go ask your baby mama for some money. But it came out as got, so it doesn't have as much steam. And so that's how, but it's what I think is funny is when a lot of guys that act, and I don't even like to say black because it's not black, it's thuggish. So when this guy is acting thuggish, and I've played basketball with these guys, and they act like they're the only ones that know how to talk trash. I'm like, no, oh my God, I know how to talk so much fucking trash, and I don't even need to say the N-word. That's because that's not the point. I want to hold him responsible as a human. I want to hold him responsible as a man. I want to hold him responsible as an adult. That's it. And he didn't want to. So he ended up calling me and then threatening to rob me and beat the shit out of me and beat me up. And at the time I was pooping on the toilet. So I'm like, And I let him know that I was recording the phone call and he kept talking trash. And then I said, well, I'm not going to put up with this abuse. And I hung up. Then he called back in again and he repeated the threats. And I was like, okay. So I finished pooping, jumped in the shower because you guys saw my poop video. You know what I do. Dry my balls off. And I'm like, hey babe, you might want to call the police so that we can put in a report just to hedge our bets, right? It's just a good idea to hedge our bets because I definitely want my insurance to pay out. And what was it? And then Sherry gets nervous whenever I get like this. And because she doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know how to handle conflict. And I'm like, fuck this guy. I'm not afraid of him. Fuck him. And, he couldn't even come up with $165 in 3 weeks for a subwoofer that he's willing to get mad and commit violence over. Like, what the fuck? What a piece of shit. So anyways, Sherry's like, should I call 911? I go, yeah, call 911. And she's like, I don't feel comfortable doing that because and I go, well, he did sound very mean and threatening and he sounded like he really, really meant it. So again, I want to take him serious. I want to take him at face value. And that's one of the things you first learn when in recovery is take people at face value. So just like, when my mom was like, my way or the highway, I'm like, bye, highway. Father-in-law, same thing, my way or the highway, I'm like, bye. So, but anyways, I called the police and here's the report number. So you guys can see that. Report number 2022-33506. So, and that's officer whatever. So, but anyways, so I made a report and then I can hear some people, some gangster, wannabe gangster bitches are like, oh, Pat, you're a snitch. I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm a snitch. Oh my God, you got to watch Gary Owen last night. This fucking special is great on Amazon. So, it's all pretend. Like most of the stuff that you see on Instagram is like pretend. I try to not do that. But if the lighting's right and someone wants to compliment me, I'm going to take the compliment. And if you want to send me money, I'm not going to turn it down. Okay. So I'm not going to be like, as Gary Owen said, I think it was a little Bow Wow or something like that. He's like, I'm on a flight, blah, 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 and then some guy was also on the same flight. And he's like, this motherfucker's not on a private plane. And then held up the camera showed that Lil Bow Wow was like in 23A in the middle seat, So again, all I'm doing is calling out this guy. His name is Thomas. I'm not going to give you his phone number because then that's whatever, something or whatever. But it is in the police report. So, but I want to give you guys the incident report number so that if you do want to look it up, you can. Of course, they're going to censor the phone number. I don't know how much they're going to censor it, but that's up to Mesa Police. So, but anyways, I found this fucking entertaining. I haven't had anything this entertaining in a while. And you guys see my channel, and I would, I would love to blame it on people being black, but it's not that. It's just shitty garbage people that think I owe them something, and I don't. And when you call them out on that, they get really mad. They take things personal, and then there's no need to take things personal. I was very nice to this guy. I even came in 2 weeks under the deadline that I told him. I gave him 3 weeks to pay. I was very kind to him, and I was like, I can't put up with this. So, but that was the other one too. Gabriel, we got a quick short notice to unload a container today of a Recoil, and my buddy Gabriel, that he we just come and help out when it's needed. And what was it? I was talking with Gabriel, and Gabriel's like, he's like, yo man, I saw your video about love. He's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? So of course I'm exaggerating his accent. He is what is the word? What did my friend Ruben say? He goes, I am paperless. So anyways, but he's Paisa, but he's a smart guy, and I want to get him a real job at a manufacturing place. So anyway, we start talking, and the guy, I wasn't sure if I could be there today, because I was waiting for the scrapyard guy to call me, and you got to be there, otherwise they charge you. And so I said, well, I'm going to be on call. Like, if I got flake, I'll bring in some help. And so I brought in some help, and the helper guy was the guy that I told you is in love with Blanka from Street Fighter. And Gabriel figured it out that the guy that I brought in was that guy. And so a little update on his story. What was it? He's homeless. He is so twisted. I've never seen anybody this twisted over attention from a woman. And of course it's his first time, and his first kiss and his first whatever touching a vagina. And I'm like, bro, I'll get you laid. I'll show you all the steps to do so you can maintain yourself. Nobody ever shows you how to make a donation to a sex worker. I will show you how. And, and Gabriel and I were having good, when you're doing manual labor with another guy and they're familiar, you guys shit talk and you have fun and all that kind of stuff. And Chris got a little upset a couple times. I'm like, dude, and I didn't realize that, he's never been around men. He's never been around adult men and had fun and shit talked and sit around, whatever. Usually they're drinking or whatever, drinking or working or something like that. And so Chris, shit, sorry, I'll have to bleep that out. He got mad a little bit, and we were like, dude, we're just joking. Like, we're just busting balls a little bit. Like, take it easy, man. And so anyways, I got him paid for today by giving him that job, bringing him in. And he was very helpful, and we got the container done in a reasonable time. They only give us a 2-hour window, but we never make the window. So it ended up being like 3.5 hours, 4 hours. And so, but he was still stuck on going back to this girl. And I said, dude, why don't you escape? And he goes, well, she's at a pawn shop right now. I go, what? Where's she at? And he goes, she's at a pawn shop over in whatever. And there's like no pawn shops around in the area. So like she's miles away. And I'm like, dude, you're free. Take the money. I said, Recoil is going to give you free lunch. Stock up on some lunch. Take some lunch with you. Some food, some supplies. And I said, you got paid cash. Go escape. Get out of there. And he's like, yeah, I should. And I go, I gave him a couple examples because he was helping me get rid of some pallets in the dumpster. And the way that he kept phrasing it was he kept saying that he felt like he was giving up on the relationship. Like, this isn't a real relationship, bro. And I said, you're helping me with these pallets, right? And he's like, yeah. And I said, well, I said, imagine if you were trying to get these pallets out only with your teeth. I go, that's what you're doing in that relationship. Me, I'm like, it's obvious to me that you should use your hands and throw the fucking thing in the dumpster. That's the obvious thing to do. And I said, Chris, I said it again. I said, dude, you need to just handle this the right way. And I said, I have no investment. Like, I don't want anything from you. She does. I'm like, oh, that was the other thing, is I told him he needs to get into a sober living facility. And he came up with the idea to get her in a sober living, because she's the one that actually does drugs. He doesn't do drugs, but you can be addicted to sex, and the feelings that he's feeling can be overwhelming and addictive. And even if they're not addictive, it's still a better place to be in a sober living facility than or house than on the street. And I was like, you got plenty to talk about in group. Like, don't even worry about it. And he texted me back. This is, I think, a couple of days ago. He's like, well, I'm trying to get her into sober living. And I'm like, good luck. And so then today when I asked him about that, I said, how's that going? And he's like, well, she doesn't want to go to the sober living facility. I was like, no shit. And so I'm like, of course, because if you don't want help, no one can help you. And so I learned that lesson today, because I told Chris, I said, hey, come back over. I said, I got the dumpster got dumped today. I said, we got to reload it. I got plenty of work for you. I'll give you some cash. Like, get over here. And nothing. Hour goes by. I'm like, I got to go to the bank. I got to run some errands. Ran those errands, came back. It's an hour and a half later, nothing. And so I called him, and he went back and picked her up. And I was like, okay. I said, well, you made your bed. You're going to lie in it. I said, there's nothing that I can do to help you anymore. I said, I can't give you any more money, because then I'm just enabling you. You got to go out on your own. I said, don't contact me anymore. And this is the tough love part. I don't want to do this. This is not the thing that churches and fuzzy, warm, feely people tell you to do. They're like, oh no, no, that's not, you cannot do that when people are in situations like this. It's called tough love. And so I said, I didn't cut him off completely. I just said in the text, I said, I can't help you. I did my best to get you to listen, and you don't want to listen, so you got to do things the hard way. And I let him know that if you think that you're in pain now, trying to quit smoking and, resist this temptation of Blanka, I just picture her zapping him. So, but if you can't resist, the situation, there's nothing I can do to help you. And so I can't give you any more money. Do not contact me or my wife until you're in a sober living facility. He's like, okay. So that's the end of him. And I tell you what, man, he's a 37-year-old virgin. And I found out that he was raised Mormon, but his mom was like extra crazy Mormon. So she believed that public schools were like evil, which I can understand that perspective, but you have to then fill in the gaps. It requires a little more effort. Well, she didn't put in the effort, and she just sent him to these deviant schools. And virtually every school district around the country has these, where that's where you send the girl that cuts herself or gets pregnant, or you're getting into trouble, you're a troubled youth, and you go to these delinquent schools, and a lot of them are Mormon run. And so he ended up going through high school with that. And I was like, did you graduate? He's like, yeah. And I was like, but he's 37, working at Taco Bell as a virgin. So it's not a great situation. And I hear a lot of stuff echoing in my head about stuff that Jordan Peterson talks about the way men get frustrated. And I was like, and also how he talks about how if the child doesn't learn how to negotiate or socialize by 5, it's very, very difficult to get them out of that rut. And that's the rut that he's been in. And we had a heart-to-heart the other day, last time he worked here. And I said, you're only like 2 hours or 2 disappointments away from being a school shooter, because when they do the exit interviews with those guys, that's exactly what they talk about, is that, they're, again, handy's not hate, #handy's not hate, and the violence. These guys are sexually frustrated, and they're not getting any, and they're being rejected by their peers. They're being rejected by staff. They don't know what to do. They don't have the right information. They don't know how to relieve themselves. They don't know how to manage their feelings and all this other stuff. So, but you know, these guys are out there, and you cannot be afraid of them, especially if, you know, they're named Thomas and they threaten you. You know, I'm like, you know, insurance is paid up, dude. Go for it. You want to kill me? Kill me. I'm definitely going to defend myself. I'm not like that, but, you know, it's just one of those, these guys are all talk. They're all bullshit. And even if they're not, it's like, okay, you can't even come up with $165. How are you going to come up with a murder or a robbery or, you know, whatever, some sort of violence? I'm like, you don't even have gas money. You're an idiot. So, but anyways, other updates. Laura's been helping me with shelving in here to kind of, good Lord, that's a whirly bird. Trying to get organized and turn this room into sort of a magnet assembly place so that then we can have storage in here, because I don't think I'm going to rent it. So, but magnetizer's working. I got to zap somebody ordered a ring magnet today, and I wanted to put that out to you. I'm giving him my biggest ring magnet, which I think is 9.5 inches in diameter, and I think either 3/4 or 1 inch thick. And it's like $40 shipped, which I thought was pretty cheap. So, but also I'll put a link into it. There's Dynavox has a website. They're out of California. They actually have some really great deals that I wanted to point out or let you guys know about. They have some plexi ported boxes. Well, they're not ported. They use a passive radiator, and they're in a couple of different cool colors. And they also sell a magnet 4-inch coil that I have, or 4-inch motor. It's only a double stack, but it's plenty good, and it's as good as the Hyphonics Titans that we have here. But what was it? The only bad thing about them is that the bolt hole circle BHC is 140 millimeter, and so that's kind of a tough find on some frames. That's all. But I may actually buy some unmagnetized and then pull them apart for the steel and then make them bigger and all that kind of stuff. It's just a good, reliable thing. What gets you on those is the shipping, because it's like $25 for shipping, and it ends up costing about, with magnetized, about $100. So it's not a fantastic deal, but it at least gives you a resource. And then of course I have all the dual 2 ohm copper coils. We have tons and tons and tons of them that for those motors. So, but I want to help you guys find some frames or other sources where you can make your own woofers, because I really can't keep up. In fact, I'm surprised I've even gone so long with this video, but I wanted to get some of this stuff out and talk to you more about it. One last thing, so that's that Elemental Designs motor ready to be zapped, and I got some other motors that need to be zapped. But other than that, I love you guys. Don't let people abuse you, or at least that's what I recommend. That's all. Because otherwise, if you're afraid of violence or the threat of violence, or someone that, you know, in your life is threatening you with violence, or even just being intimidating, you're never going to win unless you do something about it. And you don't have to resort to violence. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it's important not to put up with that kind of abuse. It's not healthy, and it never ends well. And if, you know, it's almost like a betrayal when you find out somebody is willing to be violent in order to get you to do something, whether it's a parent, some sort of relative, or a sibling, or a neighbor. That is completely unacceptable. And it's important that, you know, use the tools and the facilities. If that means, you know, making a report to the cops, go for it. I think I told you this story before. There was a guy named Tony Rodriguez who was like an infamous cocaine dealer in our area right here, Central Mesa near Westwood. And I ended up getting in a fight with a bully that he knew named Travis. What was his name? Travis? I don't know. He was like some punk rock little douchebag. And I ended up getting in a fight with him and fucking had him tap out. And I was like, all right, bitch, you're done. And then Tony greets me while I'm walking off campus and decides to pop me in the fucking head. And I got a scar over my eye. And, but I followed through and I made a report. And some of it too was to get my mom paid, because she had to come out of pocket for stitches. And of course I didn't have a fucking job. I didn't have any money for that. And so it was like, I don't know, $300 or whatever it was. And then, but it paid off because again, what it does is just puts a little notch on their record. And then the judge gets tired of seeing those people. And I even said this with Courtney, fucking Courtney Walstrom, great comedian, great potential. She ended up taking her own life, but she revealed that there was a predator guy in the comedy community, and he basically date raped her. And I tried to coach her on it and let her know that, I was like, go down, make the report. I go, nothing is going to happen. Absolutely nothing. Do not have that expectation. I said, but you got to make the report. And I said, this was before Cosby got put in jail. And so I said, it's important for you so you can put it behind you. Because of course she made a post about it, and then I didn't recommend that she bring it up, but she felt like she had to bring it up. And so I'm like, well, if you bring it up, then people are going to talk about it. So, but it was a whole thing because he was a host of a comedy night in the Valley here. And not that he was famous or anything, but of course, everybody knew him for hosting the comedy show. And of course, I don't know if he did it or not. And I said, that's not important. What is important is that you think he did it. And so you need to file a report. And she didn't file a report, and she ended up taking her own life. So I don't recommend that either. So, but that's how that goes. And there was a whole thing because she was escaped from Sierra Vista, which is a shitty little town south of Tucson. If you thought Tucson was shitty and that American Dad shits on Tucson, Sierra Vista is even worse. So, and her mom ended up taking her own life in her 30s or whatever. And so sometimes people don't feel like they can escape the dogma of their DNA or their parents or, whoever, their situation. And I'm telling you, that is not true. I am living proof that does it take a lot of hard work and time? This fucking whirly word's killing me. Does it take a lot of hard work and time? Yes. Yes, it does. Is it worth it? Fuck yeah, it's worth it. And I would pay 10 times the price after, when I was able to escape and be able to fulfill my fucking dreams of being woofer guru. And mostly just taking control of my own life. That's the biggest benefit, I should say. That's what I really want. And so, you can do it too. I did it. And I'm not anything special. I'm not anybody special. All I did was read books and go to seminars and want change in my life and make changes in my life. They were not overnight. They were very incremental. There's many times where I think about the stuff that I listen to. I don't even think I made it past the first or second tape of I think Awaken the Giant Within from Tony Robbins. I don't even think I made it past the second tape. But the things that I got from it was that I was trying and I was experimenting and not with the carrot in the butt stuff, but but just some of the things that he gave about how to go to bed at night. This is before I found out I was bipolar. But just the breathing exercises and about always sharpening your axe and always preparing yourself, being prepared. It all seemed to coincide and it works. And so again, of course, I would love to eventually be a comedic, was it like a power teacher or somebody like Tony Robbins, where you tour around and people come to see you and you're like, hey, and you just talk and try to help people, coach, get them through their fucking problems. So, but I need coaches too. And so right now I've been watching Alex Mosey Nation. I forget his full last name, but I'll put a link to him too. I've been doing some of his story links in the posts here on YouTube, and I'll post some more stuff there too. But I'll put some links in the description. And by the way, you guys, go through the links in the description. There's a lot of information that I post there, just every video. It's very helpful if you actually read instructions. So, and then also if I get frustrated with you, and I tell you need to read the Loudspeaker Cookbook, read the fucking Loudspeaker Cookbook. There's no shortcuts. Right? I'm living proof of that too. I subscribe to Robert Kiyosaki's real estate program, $5,300. Put it on a credit card. And there was no refunds. And I learned a lot. The final thing that I learned was that what I learned in that program, I could have just bought a book. That's it. I could have gone down to Borders when there was a Borders bookstore and bought the book, like even reviewed like a couple of them. And even if the book is $100, it would have still been cheaper than what I paid Robert Kiyosaki's real estate program. And I was mad for years about it. But Robert was absolutely right. A fool and his money will soon part ways. So the real key there is don't be a fool, right? Okay. I love you guys. That's enough ranting. And oh yeah, check out the capacitor bomb. That's fucking rad. So these are some, I told you I have all these bus bars. I have these in triple and quad, as you see here, the quad diamond. And then what I did was each one of these is 1 farad, and I skinned them. And underneath is the brushed aluminum, like we used to do at Lightning. And then this one is the 2 farad one I kept for the distro block. And I tried to use metal tie wraps, but they didn't work. I don't want to use the plumber strap because that kind of looks bad. What I really need is like a large, was it like a gasket hose clamp? Yeah, that's what I really need, is a large hose clamp, or to build a fancy case for all this stuff. So, but if you want to buy this, I'll do it for like $200 shipped. How's that? There you go. You want to support me? Get a big capacitor bank? Go for it. Love you guys. Later.